Alejandro Garnacho, Chelsea raid. Remember, in the winter transfer window, what was the talk about town? It was all about Chelsea going in for either Alejandro Garnacho or Kobe Mainoo. And guess what? It is reported by one of the credible journalists from England that Chelsea could revisit a move for Alejandro Garnacho this summer. And then Tagliafico has come out and obviously defended Alejandro Garnacho as to why he should stay at Manchester United. All else, where he goes, he might obviously shock United fans because he might turn out to be one of the biggest players in the world. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun and continue to do the needful and see to it that all goes on well as planned. Now, today is a Tuesday and we're here to bring you this story of Alejandro Garnacho. Now, this story comes in from iPaper Sports and Peter Hall. He's obviously telling us that Chelsea could revisit a move for Alejandro Garnacho this summer, with Napoli also keen. So, Chelsea and Napoli are really trying to obviously get in Garnacho. Now, I've seen very many people coming out and bash Garnacho. You understand? But one thing we have to understand is that a player at his age, he's learning. And people have gotten to have really tried not to really face reality. Reality is that there are few players that can perform at that age and at that level, like Lamine Yamal is, Nico Williams is. You can talk about Carl Palmer, you can talk about Wayne Rooney. I think even Ronaldo at 18, 19, 20, he had not really stabilized on well, because I think Ronaldo went ahead to obviously hit numbers well at the age of 21, 22, you know, and I think his best seasons at Manchester United was the season of 2000, 2007. It was 2007, 2008, 2008, 2009, 2006, 2007. That's where he really started. But remember, he had spent, I think, 3 years at Manchester United. You understand? So that he's the player known as Cristiano Ronaldo. So Garnacho might be this player who will develop into the effective player that we want to see in him at the age of like 22. You understand? And these young stars are really affected by one problem, that they are playing in for a club whose demands are really high. The demands of Manchester United are very, very huge. So, if you're playing for the club of Manchester United, there are certain things that you won't dodge, and you need to be having a thick skin. Those players like Wayne Rooney, Ronaldo, Carlos Tevez, Nani came in throughout Manchester United, and they found a very conducive atmosphere that United had senior players in there. Imagine joining Manchester United with players like Rio Ferdinand, you know, Edwin van der Sar, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, talk of Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs, Ruud van Nistelrooy, David Beckham. So those players could effectively really take the pressure off you, because you know that by the time you get into the starting 11 or play off the bench, your problem wouldn't be you going ahead and lifting that team, because there are very many players who could obviously put the weight of carrying the team of Manchester United where it's supposed to be on their shoulders. That is Manchester United for you. And if at all you're outside there and you think that it's not one of those benefits that help those players to thrive, then football is not meant for you. Why is it that very many players that have gone ahead to come in young have struggled at Manchester United after Sir Alex Ferguson? Because the club itself has been struggling since Alex Ferguson left. But when you're really having good players, they obviously sink into that team well. I can give you an example of a team like Barcelona, that look at the youngsters they are really having. They have a core that they are building those youngsters on. Ter Stegen in goal, you know, Araujo. They're having Jules Koundé. And that's why you see that Kubasi can easily come and fit well to that midfield. I think there is Christiansen in there, you know. Is Garcia, I think Garcia left, you understand. Go to the midfield, they're having Frank de Jong is a senior player, you understand. And you talk about Lewandowski, you understand. And that is enough to be a spine for a club like Barcelona. Rafinha is a senior player. Ferran Torres is a senior player. You understand? So I think that's what you're lacking at Manchester United, that our senior players at Manchester United are not really paying the due diligence or really putting in performance that they're supposed to be putting in as a club. So as it stands, it really beats my understanding why people are really going after Garnacho. And I tell you the fact, right now, I wouldn't like to see us selling Alejandro Garnacho, because I know in 2 seasons he'll be worth £100 million minimum. Right now, United wanted between 60 to 70 million pounds from either Chelsea or Napoli in the January transfer window, and Napoli could only offer 50 million pounds. I think they're even euros. They are like, we're offering only like 42, 43 million pounds. Now, I think it's better we leave Ruben Amorim here and see to it that he improves these players. And if at all they will be need to sell them, then United will really have to get in huge money. I would love to see to it that we sell Alejandro Garnacho for like 100 million pounds, pure profit, and that will help Manchester United really maybe strengthen our club. And I would love to see this guy having a pre-season with Ruben Amorim and see how he goes into the season of 2025-2026. That will obviously give me the ultimatum of Alejandro Garnacho. And you're going to hate to see it that when Amorim came in here, Garnacho was not really performing very well. But ever since he benched him for the game of Man City, that he won by 2-1, I think that was last year, Alejandro Garnacho has turned out to be one of the best players in there, especially going forward. And the end product is still disturbing him, but I know he'll improve. And this season, Garnacho was really going to hate to play 30 games in the Premier League, 4 goals and 1 assist. UEFA Europa League, 10 games, 1 goal and 3 assists. Those are 5 goals and 4 assists in 40 games. Then EFL, 3 games, 3 goals and 3 assists. That takes it to 8 goals and 7 assists. Then in the FA Community Shield, he went ahead, obviously, score goals there. And I think he has also gone ahead to score in some FA Cup games, if at all I'm not mistaken. So, he's not an injury-prone player. He's just 20. He's making, I think he's making 21 in July. You understand? That is the player that you're talking about. That is Alejandro Garnacho. So I think it's better to give him like 2 seasons. I don't know why people really want him out immediately, because quick fixes are not the ones that are really going to take us there. And if at all you feel like we need another player, keep Garnacho here and bring in that player. But when you look at the system of this manager, he plays with 2 number 10s, one on the left side of the central attacking midfield and the other on the central attacking side of the midfield. That means that when you're having Garnacho in there, there is Kobe Mainoo, there is Mason Mount, there is Bruno Fernandes, there is Amadi Diallo, there is Joshua Zirkzee. We are having plenty of players that play into that position. So I think the manager starting him against the game of Man City over the weekend just sent us a message that he wants him here. And however much these people coming through, I don't think the manager will obviously try to sell the player, because he has seen more positives of Alejandro Garnacho. And I remember one of the posts he went ahead and obviously made on how Garnacho has gone ahead obviously improve. Let me see whether I can even find it here to obviously read it to you, because the manager came out and obviously said, I think after the game of Nottingham Forest, the manager had lots of things to say about Alejandro Garnacho, and he was really piling praises onto the Argentine international. That is Alejandro Garnacho for you. But I think it's just a matter of time for him to obviously click and see to it that he really gets well into that side. And I think his mentality cannot be his problem, because he has obviously gone ahead to follow up in the footsteps of a player known as Ronaldo. They talk a lot. You see to it that even make celebrations of Cristiano Ronaldo. And this is what the manager of Manchester United had to say about this youngster known as Alejandro Garnacho. He was asked, and he said Garnacho needs to improve the way he runs, the way he defends, scores and assists. And he said he needs to improve on the way he runs and the way he defends, scores the scores and assists. He's improving. That's what the manager's saying. He's doing the right things like any player in our team. He has to choose better in the last third. Bruno is the only one scoring goals easily. So I hinted about it that the end product of Alejandro Garnacho is the problem. But if he improves on his end product, I tell you, he's really going to be deadly because he's a direct player. And who has come out and obviously warned Manchester United onto really letting this player go is Nico Tagliafico, one of the players that play for the Argentine national team, and we are under Erik ten Hag at Ajax. He has told us that I think Garnacho can still be a great star, of course. I know he has had some difficult moments under the coach, but maybe he needs more support on the pitch. Sometimes it is more about communication. Then he concluded by saying that when a winger is in front of me, I like to talk to them and encourage them to take on more one-on-ones, or when to tuck in. Maybe that's what he needs more at Manchester United. He's still very young, but he's dangerous and he's really fast. He has talent. There are not many like him. So let's obviously just leave the guy. And I know Ruben Amorim will obviously get the best out of Alejandro Garnacho in these remaining games and even when it comes to the coming game. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Rokan David is my name. Tell me your thoughts about Garnacho Chelsea ride planned in the summer. And we talk about Napoli also. Napoli has wanted Alejandro Garnacho and looks like they want to turn United into their fishing pond because they are looking at two players from Manchester United. They are looking at Rasmus Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho. And I don't think that they'll get any of those. So, for Napoli, there is Victor Osimhen in there for you. Maybe they can obviously make a swap. And I all know that right now Garnacho is more valuable than Victor Osimhen because Osimhen is 24, 25 years of age. This guy is just 20 and he has given us traces of a player that can turn out to be more deadly and deadlier in the game of football. And people are really ranking him highly. And if he improves on his end product, I tell you the end will be history. Rokan David remains my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Bye-bye.